For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite-level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated, more often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the E.T. Stand Podcast.
Classic Cronulla Sharks. They build us up. They get us thinking that they're going to come back and win, and then they just do it every single time. Cronulla Sharks give up a 22-point lead at the start of the match, and then just can't claw it back. Welcome to the E.T. Stand Podcast, the Cronulla Sharks fan podcast that's tonight letting its talking to the football. Joining me is the regular debrief spiritual leader and star of tonight's coverage, actually, on the TV from all reports, Stephen Franklin. Franco, we didn't chat to each other whilst we were at the match because we thought we'd save it for right now. How are you feeling post-match?
Oh, mixed emotions. I mean, it was good that we made a match of it, but geez, we shouldn't have let them get ahead the way we did. That was really slow start there, especially after how well we started against the Bronx last week. You think that maybe those gremlins were out, the jet lag from those big matches was out of our system, and we were going to come out firing, but we just looked a bit lethargic, a bit slow. So, and unfortunately, off the back of that, they had a grasp on that game from basically 25 minutes into the match. It was us to fight back.
Well, it was us to try and find a miracle fight back.
It was.
It's once they were down by 22 points, they actually started throwing the ball around and looked far more enterprising than we normally look. But you just can't give up 22 points to a Wayne Bennett coach team or to any team, really.
It was one of those scenarios where there were people in the stands already talking about, oh, geez, do we head home and beat the traffic? It was one of those sorts of games where it just didn't look like anything was going to happen until the bench.
We've been saying it for weeks, the bench. Like, Royce Hunt is just so much better than any other forwards, and we don't look like we're anything until he comes on. So, look, we'll talk about all of that and more as we get into the show. Please do leave comments and get involved in the show. You can share your thoughts. Craig Gearin has commented pretty early, just saying, well, yeah, the whole thing sounds painful. That was in response to us saying we were a little bit late, saying we were going to rewatch the end of the match as we got our notes together. It was certainly a brutal rewatch. Pete Bissett has called out that Katoa should have tried to improve the position. Nico has lost his Blues jersey. We'll talk about the end moments and Nico and the Blues jersey and the frustrating Sharks. If you have any comments or want to have your say, please do get involved in the comments. Here we go. Cody's coming through saying that the short turnaround for us and the Dolphins coming off a bye doomed to start. I think there is an element of truth to that. And it's still difficult to contend with. All right, why don't you give us let's go to the Franco files and run us through the key moments in the match, Franco.
All right. Well, yeah, it's a bit of a funny one, this one. Obviously, everyone is aware. For those who missed the game, those wanting to relive it, here we go. 10 minutes in, Marshall shovels it from about 5 meters out to Jesse Bromwich, who, with 3 people hanging off him, gets a nice little offload to Plath, who dives over the line next to the posts, scores the first try of the night. It all seemed a little bit too easy. No one wrapped up the ball there, and really we've been suffering from late offloads for the last few weeks now. Dare I say, the last couple of years. But that was just another example.
Yeah, they should have been backing up better on that one and expecting that, shouldn't they?
I mean, well, you always want to try and wrap that ball up, but especially close to the line there, it was just a bit soft, that one. 14th minute, Dolphins with all the field position, swing it left through the hands to Farnworth, who strolls over practically untouched. Numbers were there. We were just a little slow in coming across. That brought Ramian in while Katoa stayed out, giving it a bit of a go hole for Farnsworth to dive in. That said, I felt that Ewan Aitken obstructed the line with Kennedy running into him. Probably wouldn't have made much of a difference, but live, I was certainly surprised they didn't take a closer look at it. I, understand that they talk about all the common sense stuff these days, especially after that Edwards try, or no try. But yeah, I thought that was a bit of a funny one. I thought they could have at least had a bit of a gander at that obstruction there. In the 20th minute, and the third try goes to the Dolphins. Through the hands out to Bostock, who from 10 metres out steps inside Katoa and gets wrapped up by Kennedy and Brayley. Legs pumping, he gets to the line, and while he is held up, he's able to slam it down with his long, lanky arms. Another one probably should have been stopped. We were there, we had men on him, but
it was weak defence.
Bit of extra effort from the ball carrier, and yeah, he got there. So it's at this point, it's worth noting we basically make a triple interchange. First, Hazelton in for Kafusi and Williams for Rudolph. A moment later, Hunt comes in for McInnes. Be it a lift in intensity or good luck, we certainly find ourselves with ball in good position. The 28th minute, with his first touch of the game, running straight and hard, Hunt busts a couple of tackles and dives over to register the Sharks' first points of the night. It, like I said, you can say it was luck, you could say it was good fortune, but I really think that intensity lifted there, which put a bit of pressure on the Dolphins. They're a bit sloppier in the ruck, and that earned us a few extra good graces from the ref that got us there where we needed to be. Halftime, Sharks 12, Dolphins 22. Maybe a bit of a sniff, something there. The crowd starting to get a bit vocal. Certainly a little bit better than the 22-0 it was looking like it was going to be a couple minutes earlier. In the 45th minute, off the back of a penalty, Sharks find themselves on the attack after another penetrating run from Royce. Williams takes a hit up, and with a bit of attention, he gets a late offload out the back to Brayley, who sends it deep to Trindle. With an overlap, we send it through the hands to Mulatalo, who steps inside a couple and scores. Obviously, we're on a bit of a run now, 3 on the trot. It's starting to look a bit hopeful, looking a bit good. Again, Royce killing it, doing really well. And, just the intensity of the team's really stepped it up again. Sort of starting to get a bit of the arm wrestle back in our favour.
Well, as soon as they start throwing it around, Franco, they just start looking better, don't they? And so you're almost at this point of the match, I almost have the feeling I don't want the Sharks to score too quickly, because if they score with 20 minutes to go, they're always going to let the other team back in. So actually we want them to score with 5 minutes to go and then just hold on. You just knew it was going this way at this point, didn't you?
Certainly.
I thought so.
I don't know. I was starting to feel it. 52 minutes in, from inside our own 20, Ramian gets outside his man and passes it to Nakora, who's camped out on the wing. He makes a break, running 40 metres before passing to Kennedy as he gets to the hammer. Hammer falls off Kennedy, who scores with a successful conversion. We are 2 points in front. That was just a fabulous try that basically came out of nowhere. Really, really looking good. Sort of lends to that narrative of Sharks finishing strong, having better second half than the first half, and this was sort of putting it back to that, I guess, idea of thinking.
And they still had the bench guys on the field at that point, and so
doing well. Yep. In the 58th minute, Nico puts up a bomb that I kind of feel that Trindle overchased, giving the hammer a bit of space to move. He slices through a few, plenty of people there should have grabbed him. And he has some open space in front of him, running down the sideline. Kennedy actually manages to get to him, but is shrugged off with a bit of a shirt grab. Geez, I would have liked to have seen him go for the legs here.
God. Yep.
Bit of Sattler style tackling, I think would have gone well, but in the end, Hammer gets one back, and they're back in front. In the 70th minute, bit of a big one here. Pretty much half the Dolphins team is offside from a kick. And this is the kick where Nico was called for blocking. They get a penalty, gives them a kick, and they move to 6 in front. I know the refs were looking to try and find the knock on. They stopped the call there where they claimed that Nico was changing direction, but totally ignored the offside as far as I was concerned. It was a bit of a hard one, bit of pill to swallow, but as I mentioned, big impact on the game with them now 6 in front. In the last minute, last tackle, 40 meters out, through the hands to the right, Nikora burns the Dolphins for speed and flicks the ball out to Katoa on the wing, who flies down the sideline to score in the corner. My phone explodes. Not because we're within 2, but apparently I'm on TV. So it's a bit of a tough kick now coming up. Nico needing to kick it to take us to extra time. He slices it wide, full time. Sharks 28, Dolphins 30. Hearts broken.
It's just heartbreaking listening to you retelling that story. And so I feel like you and I are like the Sharks in the first 20 minutes, just flat right now coming into the match. It's hard to be too excited and, even that animated about being disappointed in the Sharks. I think for starters, you can't hold it against Nico Hines for missing a kick from the conversion when he's a 44 from 48 kicker at a 94% percentage rate. I don't think we can hold the goal kick against him. And in the end, the difference proves to be the try to the hammer and also the penalty goal that he was a bit tough, I thought, the escort on him as well. So
I think, as you said, with Nico's kicking, he's been great this season. Zarko, who's no slouch with the boot, missed one penalty conversion from pretty good position.
He missed an easy one. He missed
an easy one. And also missed one after a try. So, I don't think you could say that it's Nico's fault. We ended up with the same tries, same conversions from tries. I just think that there were a couple of soft tries that probably should have been stopped, and that's not including the hammer length of the field try that they happen.
I thought that was against the run of the play.
That's right. Against us.
That was against the run of the play. I thought we were on top, but
yeah, we certainly were. We were in front on the scoreboard. So it was just one of those ones that I just certainly was one that got away. I think we fought our way back. We were on top. We were doing well, and weren't able to hang on.
It's the sort of one that premiership teams win. All right, well, let's just go through some of the comments. We've got a few people in here. Look, if you want to have your say, please do get involved in the comments of the show. Scooter69 is calling out in the comments that the starting forwards just didn't start. I think I categorically agree with that. The numbers, they just don't lie. In terms of, this year we're 40 points down or whatever it is in the first half and 110 positive for and against in the second half. Ryan in the comments is calling out that we need AFB ASAP. Our starting props, they just aren't laying a platform. Take out the first 20 minutes and we win 28-8. You're not wrong. Shapefen calls out, Kafusi, 33 meters. That is not very many for someone who's playing only a few minutes. You just hope to get a bit more out of anyone than 33 meters. And then, according to Mr. Kelly, he saw you on TV and he said you looked worried before the kick, and you were right to be worried. So I actually remarked that I used to always think Brett Kamali was really good at kicking it from the sideline when it was under pressure, but was hopeless at every other time. It's just a shame. I would have loved it for Nico to come through in that moment, because it just would have built us up and really gone for us. And then Scooter69 has come through with, we just gave them too much cheap ball. I think I definitely agree with that. If you are new to the channel and watching us for the first time, do hit the subscribe button to get notified of all of our videos in the future. And if you're enjoying the video, please do hit the like button, as it notifies other Sharks fans of the videos that we've got going on. We're going to bring in Williams 2.0 in a second, our first caller through to get his reaction. Ashley Williams is here. How was the Dolphins play not sent off for that shot on Kennedy? We are going to talk to that in a second. We're going to ask you that question first. Williams 2.0. And yeah, g'day to SJD, who's also here in the comments. All right, we're going to bring in the first of our dial-ins, Williams 2.0. G'day, mate.
How are we?
Yeah, we've probably been better. Rugged up. You're obviously at the match tonight. What's your initial reaction coming out of the match and walking home and driving home from Shark Park?
I live next door, so I don't have to walk home. I said it the other week, and I'll say it again. There is no energy to start the match.
It's just none, isn't there?
Why? You can blame it. There's a few reasons, right? You can blame it on the 5-day turnaround. You can blame it on the 6-game stretch where we played every decent team.
All the top teams, sure.
But that first 25 minutes had a lot of Penrith vibes.
Yeah.
There was no energy. It just looked, we were shot. You can't excuse Origin because we only had the 2 players and one had a week off last week. I think Cam still busted his butt for us tonight. I think whenever he was on, there was energy. But why do we have to wait 25 minutes, 30 minutes until they bring Royce and Tom or if it's whoever else is on the bench to get that energy in? There's no excuse.
We showed last week with the Broncos match, right? How a strong start helps the whole match. We just didn't have that tonight.
No, we kept them. We kept the Broncos in check, which is exactly what I said it the other week. We needed to pray, and luckily Suwali helped us in Origin by knocking out Reece. But tonight, when they ran on the field, I looked at the Dolphins pack, and they were very small. They're a very small pack. And we got Toby, we got Royce, we got Hazleton, we got the bigger boys. But you could tell which team was coming off the bye. Now, that's not an excuse because you got a 5-day turnaround. You'd have a couple of days off. You relax, you go again, knowing that you're going into a bye that it's a potential 4-pointer. You get the win tonight.
Well, surprising. Why weren't they more spirited after the Penrith performance coming out in front of their home fans thinking we needed to?
That's the thing as well. I read Blake Brayley saying, this is supposed to be this is our home. We're going to, turn it around. You didn't see that in the first 25 minutes. And as I said, it's Wayne Bennett's coach team. They're going to be tough. They're going to be hard to grind down. But they were
well disciplined.
Yeah, they were very well
disciplined. Though
very well.
But that also the other thing is that in the first 20 minutes is that they just couldn't hold out any remote level of adversity, like one error or a repeat set. They just basically let in a try every single time. And so why can't we in the first 20 minutes just find that intensity?
You look at it. As you said, I was at the game. They went through the middle for Max Plath in the first, and then they went the short side-ish in the second one where it was 4-on-3, and it was just arms tackles. The problem in defence is, and I say this to everyone, I've played the game for about 10 years, and your first thing is to get them on their back. Make sure they take as long as to get up the ball, to play the ball as you can. I guarantee I'm going to watch it back after this, and the first 30 minutes, the Dolphins were on their hands and knees ready to play the ball quick. Whereas you look at Tommy when he comes on, you look at, Toby, you look at Oregon on their back. They're getting 3 or 4s. Maybe they're getting a little bit of help from the ref where they're not getting off as quick, but, you make your own luck. We're not getting hands and knees. Cameron McGuinness is a prime example. You get on your hands and knees, you play the ball quick. You get over the advantage line, you get on your hands, you get tackled, doesn't matter. Get up. You got to have that energy. We don't have that energy for some reason.
No.
The back 5 of us, we have that. They have that energy, but the forwards don't.
When they're on.
Yes.
I've noticed your little descriptor there. Todd Smith is a fraud.
No, mate, don't get me started on him.
How are you feeling about? Well, how are you feeling? How are you feeling about the referee performance?
He was the same ref that refed us against Canberra in the game we went down 18-0. He has a very particular way of giving a penalty to the other team, or 6 again, or whatever you want to do, giving them the benefit, and then bringing it back to the other team later in the half. Very consistent in being crap. And I said to people that were sitting around me, he's going to watch this. He's going to give us penalty. He's going to give them penalty, or he's going to give them the rub of the green. He'll bring it back towards us. When they had the rub of the green, they were up 22-0. Then we were up 24-22. It's not a coincidence.
There were a couple of tough penalties on us. One of the holding down ones.
Yeah,
I think Franco.
Right. I think Franco said earlier that he was dropped last year for his inconsistencies.
Yep.
If he's a first grade referee, then I should be a first grade player.
We didn't lose, but we didn't lose because of the referee. We lost because of the first 20 minutes and just like we're just not good enough. At the
I guess what Williams is trying to say is it's that inconsistency that sort of makes the players not sure of how the game is flowing. And, something that works 1 minute doesn't work the next. And so it just makes that difficult to get that rhythm going.
I'll put this in there too. The two challenges from both teams tonight were crap. Like I could tell from my seat that they were both, they're not going to win the challenges. Sharks
what were we even challenging for? Like, what were we trying to say? Yeah, I couldn't work that out. Anyone in the comments, let us know. I don't know why we challenged what we thought the call was wrong.
But here's the thing. As soon as we got rid of that challenge, there was I could see it from my point of view that they were holding the ball, and then they called knock on when we could have challenged it. So it's a waste of a challenge. Yeah. It's our fault for that. But there were certain things that I could see that they were doing, that we were doing, that we were getting touched up for, but they were getting let go in the first half. And then, as I said, he starts to swing it this way. And there were some things that I was going, well, that's not a penalty that they gave to us. But then the Dolphins weren't getting them. I was like, he's a consistent ref that is not first grade standard. If he was ref in Newtown, I wouldn't care.
Comments come through from Ashley Williams. How was the Dolphins player not sent off for the shot on Kennedy?
The
thing is, if Kennedy falls on his head, if Kennedy falls on his head there and gets really hurt, then he does get sent off, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah.
It's the inconsistencies in the refereeing again. However, there was that lifting tackle that we got penalised for in the first half.
Which was nothing.
About 2-3 sets later, they lift us, but they don't get a penalty. So
everyone's agreeing.
This guy, the most experienced referees. I'm not a fan of Klein or anything. There's a couple of decent refs in the game, but all we want is, hey, if we're going to get penalised for a lifting tackle, you guys get penalised for a lifting tackle. It's not algebra when it's not that kind of high end. If you're going to penalise one person, you penalise another person. It's not. It doesn't make sense to me, to be honest. But refereeing has never made sense to me.
On the Kennedy thing.
Yep.
Live straight away, off, get rid of him. But on replay, he doesn't land on his head. It looks spectacular. It's a bit of a pull on the collar. I always try to apply the filter of if it was Ronaldo doing that to someone, would I be okay with him being sent off? And I don't think I would be. So I think it's fine that it was not a send off.
If it's a 50-50, you got to leave the boys on the field. You can't.
I think that's probably right.
A lot. I mean, you go back to the Sawali thing from Origin. That was everyone's still debating.
That was clear. No, that one was clear.
I believe it was a 10 in the bin because Origin's a different level. But at the same time, it's done. Get over it. Walk it off. We'll be fine.
That's true. Williams, you're getting a bit of love here in the comments. How good is Williams 2.0? Which is just from our good man, Chris Kelly. We'll ask you one last question before we let you go. Who performed well? Who's your man of the match? And the 3-2-1 for the Sharkies tonight.
3-2-1. Well, it's hard to go past the bench because they're the ones that brought the impact that changed the game, really. So I'll give...
Yep.
I'm going to give 3 points to Royce because I actually thought Talakai scored the try. I thought it was Talakai on the edge, and I was like, oh, wait, hang on. It is Royce. 2 points I'll give to Cal Aero. I think he ran strong all game. He was our top tackle, and he tackled pretty well. 1 point. Jeez, who am I going to give the 1 point to? I'm going to give it to Kennedy. I think Kennedy performed pretty decent tonight. Apart from that one little missed tackle on Hammer, he can't be responsible for the game. But I think he was solid throughout, and you got to try it. Why not? He played pretty well.
All right, fair enough. All right, well, don't know if I would have given my 1 point to Kennedy, but I think I agree with the other ones. But I'm known for being pretty tough on Kennedy. So, all right. Well, Williams,
I'm an
thanks for coming in.
ex-fullback, so I've got to give it to him.
Well, those tackles are hard to make, but he isn't great at those one-on-one tackles.
I think Hammer's got about 3 seconds of speed on him too. So.
I mean, I thought he was great just getting to him. So,
yeah,
you know.
That's true. Anyone else wants to share their points? Do get your 3, 2, 1s into the. Oh God, Ashley Williams has given Todd Smith 1 point. Definitely not sure that I agree with that.
I'm pretty sure that's my cousin too. So Ash, just give me a chat before you start commenting too much, buddy.
No, we like those comments. All right, Williams 2.0. Good to see you, mate. Hopefully we get you in for a win soon.
Hopefully, mate. I'll be up in Coffs for the Titans game, so I'll probably ring in from there as well. So.
Oh, that'd be terrific. All right, sounds good. You can tell us how that goes.
I'll be very intoxicated.
That will be amusing. All right, mate. We'll chat to you soon. Thanks for coming in.
Boys.
See you, buddy. All right. Well, geez, we love it when people dial in and we get to know them and get involved in the show. So let's go through some of the other comments here. Craig Gearon's come through saying, "Yep, we still never beat the Dolphins." That is certainly true. Shake, I'm going to come back to your comment. We're going to come back to him in a minute. Harley's come through saying we have a bye and then we're versus the Bulldogs in round 17. So at least we've got some points coming. Chris Kelly has come through the comments saying, agreeing that, yep, dumb challengers again. That seems to be a consistent point. Yep, Mike Knight, you are a little bit late. Bumblebee tuna indeed. Have we worked out what that means yet, Franco, the Bumblebee tuna?
We did. Ace Ventura too.
There we go. That's right. I remember that now. Nathan Hunt in the comments, we looked to be waiting for our bench forwards to come on so we could play some attacking football. I also thought we just started playing the attacking football as soon as we were down. And so then we went back to a bit more of the ad lib. And then Mike Wright has come in. Hammer played dot to dot with that try. And that's probably true. And then some other 3, 2, 1s
makes
here.
a good point.
Yeah.
With the fact that, yeah, that higher intensity did give us a bit more space. You know, you can't throw the ball around if the opposition's on top of you. So it's a bit of both there, I think. So they gave us
if you've got the
space.
That's right, Franco. You've nailed that one there, actually, haven't you? The forwards perform better. It allows you to do that. But they also were more progressive once they were down. Then we got a couple of votes in here. Chris Kelly's giving his man of the match to Nickera. Kennedy for 2. Katoa. Oh, did you get a multi, Chris? Good for you. And then Chris is also commenting that Toby looks slow again. And then unfortunately, Nico is being torched on the socials. It's not encouraging. All right, well, talking to socials, let's bring in man of the people and star of tonight's coverage. Lats, what's your reaction to that post-match?
Mate, my reaction, mate, I'm feeling pretty much like the Sharks looked for the first 30 minutes and deflated. Pretty disappointing allowing a lead like that to get away from us. Feeling quite confident when we clawed it back. And then the hammer happened and I was kind of worried from then on in, and rightfully so.
Yeah, I think that's probably right. What do you do with the team setup, Lats? How do we not have this problem at the start of the matches where we're not performing?
Look, it's hard coming from a 5-day turnaround, especially when you've played interstate. All teams do it, those have to go through it at some point during the season. But I don't know. Like we've brought Hazelden off the bench to try and spark something with him as he was looking flat for a few weeks there. You don't really want to shuffle the bench up too much because it's pretty much been our backbone for the last few weeks. We just didn't have that spark. The Dolphins had it all over us, not to mention their completions were pretty good. They only dropped 3, I think, in their completions where we were about 7. So,
they had, 2 errors all game or some outrageously
3.
low number? 3.
Yep. So, and on the back of some pretty lucky penalties, I think, which weren't reciprocated to us. I think they were pretty lucky. I thought there was a bit of soft defence there I think we could have held Jack Bostock up there from scoring. Yep. Looked like we had. The hammer try was just brutal. There were so many opportunities, and then Ronnie Ronnie has a grab. He gets away from him. Ronnie goes again and gets taken out by one of our players coming over in cross defence. I thought a couple of our forwards were quite weak tonight. Kafusi, as was mentioned earlier, 4 carries for 39 minutes, and he comes up with 4 carries. That's not good enough.
It's just to defend him a little bit there. For most of his stint, we didn't have much possession. So it's a lot of defense, a lot of tackling.
Yep.
So it is a bit of a falsehood, that stat for him.
Yep.
That said, yeah, I didn't think he had a great game.
No, and Toby too, as Chris alluded to. I thought Toby, he looked slow. He didn't look have that fire in his belly that he's come on with when he started the last couple of weeks. He had 7 carries for 68 meters. Back 5 was strong. I thought the back 5 was strong. I know Will Kennedy missed that tackle, but he was also very good in attack. I thought Ronnie was good under the high ball. Calero was good, got through his meters, but without being too flashy. I think we do lack something in attack there, but with Kale, I don't think Ronnie sees the ball as much. And I thought Talakai, I think you were right, Boldo. We were discussing about Talakai possibly
going to broach this one
is
next.
that more impact? And that's probably what you do change to spark that, give Talakai some less minutes, but more impactful minutes.
I think the balance of the team, I think we've now proven, and our favourite commenter, we may put this to bed now, that Talakai is not a centre. But I know that we want to see
Blue
for
4.
For anyone that doesn't know, there's a legend who comments on our show every single week, just taunting us for saying that Talakai is a centre, and he gets annoyed with us every week. This is Paul or Peter? What's the guy's name? Peter.
Oh,
now
I think his handle's
Blue
4 or something, or
Blue
yeah,
4.
he's just annoyed with us every week. So I think Talakai, he looked gassed at the end, and I think we're not getting enough value out of him as an 80-minute player. So actually, we're missing Teague, and I think when Teague comes back into the team, it's Calero and Teague for mine now, and Talakai is a 40-minute, 50-minute impact player. And in the moments where we have the matches where we have an injury to the backs, then we've got Talakai there as a safe, as a solution for that. And we've got a few more comments coming through. Jesus, it's going nuts tonight. I like this comment from Rob. Look, it's just the sad thing about this show. Sometimes we get a lot of people commenting and interacting with the show when we lose. It's bloody annoying. Can't we win and have a good show? Rob, I think this is an interesting comment, and Franco, I'll read it out and you can respond to this. Rob says, sometimes playing those first hit-ups with the back 5 is not the answer. It's more often than not it is, but sometimes it needs a change up. Franco, what do you think of that comment from Rob?
I mean, look, it's been our blueprint for the season, and it's mostly been working. I think we saw against the Panthers, they really sort of smothered our back 5 and diffused that strategy. So you could be right there, Rob. I thought there's a little bit of a difference. The idea is obviously keep your engine room fresh, let the back 5 do the hard yards, and then keep your props and everyone ready for a couple of big hits. I thought tonight we sort of took that to the next level where, our outside backs were taking 3, sometimes 4 of the hit ups, leaving 1 hit up before a kick. I thought maybe we could have done a little bit, seen a bit more urgency from some of the props, or the back row was getting back on side to help out a little bit more, because it's one thing to see your back 5 show all that determination and effort, but it's another to see them do that with someone with their hands on their hips waiting for them to catch up to where they are instead of getting back on side. As soon as you see that, the defense knows that they can just hammer that poor ball carrier. There's no one else that there's an option, so it's just one man out sort of stuff that you get angry with at the best of times. In this scenario, it just doesn't work.
All right, mate, 100% agreeing with you there, Robbie. All right, some other comments that have come through. SJD saying we need to bring in Tukes. He has been in good form, Tukes, hasn't he? Tomo's called out that it was a heartbreaking try. Certainly that is true. And SJD's calling for Hunt needs to start with Ueli, maybe, but Hunt's been so good off the bench. Ryan is calling out that Hamlin Ueli to replace Toby to start and Huge Tukes to come off the bench. I think one thing we're also seeing here is that if we're all saying that we don't know who the starting and the strongest set of forwards is, then how is Fitzgibbon meant to know who the starting forwards are? It seems to change every week, and he hasn't quite worked that out. He's definitely not getting enough from Rudolph and Ueli. And so I think those were the starting props, and they should be better. So we're missing them, and maybe they're a little bit underdone. Chris Kelly's called out that he put the mock on it and said that Hammer was quiet the next minute. That's probably right. Craig Gearan maybe carrying injuries due to the short turnaround as well. Maybe. You could, maybe.
Every team has a short turnaround. You got to be
That's
prepared
true.
for that. So it's not really a good excuse. That said,
Yep.
yeah, it does hurt. So
Yep. This one through from Mike Knight. Are we seeing enough shark attack? It all seems a little too regular. Yep, Dr. Bolderman, my old man, agrees with you 100%, Mike. When I got back to my parents' place, he pretty much said the same thing. And yeah, I agree with you. Top 12, once Hammer scored, changed it back their way. Should have defended him better. We were shot once they were shot when we hit the front. Yeah, that's right. Sorry, I got those comments back to front. And then, yeah, Rob, your comment here is getting a lot of chat. When we lose, it doesn't work. Yeah, Mike's supporting you. God, there's so many comments coming in, keeping track of all these guys. Maybe I've got to find a better, smarter way to do this.
how good is it's a late night, it's a school night. I was sure we'd be screaming into the abyss.
We're
But
not
here we are,
screaming
full
into
house.
the abyss, are we?
Full
Yes,
house.
one good thing
Welcome,
that I think, well, and for anyone who's new to the show and hasn't seen us before, do hit the like and subscribe buttons. If that way you can tell other Sharks fans by hitting that like button that we've got cool videos going on, and the subscribe button helps you get notified of our future videos. One thing I did take away from tonight, I reckon Britton Nickera is back. Franco, I think he was in good form, and I like it how he sometimes hides out on the wing and they're kind of thinking that he's not going to do anything, and then he sets up a try. I thought that was one big positive. We know that Franco, I think, is the president of the Britton Nickera fan club. Do you agree with me on that? How are you feeling about Nickera? Is he back?
He was on. I was a bit surprised that our past caller Williams didn't give him any points in his 3-2-1, but
I thought that was tough as well.
he was on. The little wing play. I don't know if that's a play or if he's out there catching a breather while the outside backs do a couple of hit ups. But he seems to find himself out there fairly often.
They do that a bit because they do it. I don't mind it.
And when he gets the ball, he has the pace to back it up, right? So it's not like it dies out there with him. So he was good tonight. Bit loose in defense at times, but the whole team was there for the first 20 minutes. So
yeah, I thought Nickera was good, boys. I think they were focusing more of their attack on that left side with Talakai there, and I think it just gave him the perfect opportunity to snipe when he needed to, and yeah, some nice runs down that right hand side, and it's good to see him back in form. He's such a strong competitor in defence as well. He always has a really good crack. I thought he wasn't.
I thought there was an interesting strategic choice by Coach Craig Fitzgibbon. With the last interchange, he took Captain Cam off after he'd only done, I reckon, been back on for 15 minutes, and put Royce back on for the last 5. Is that a sign that maybe we're not getting enough out of McInnes, or is it just that with a couple of minutes left to go, he just thought Royce was a better chance of busting the team open, and we were better off he's a better attacking outlet? That's
probably just giving him a rest. Mate. He backed up after Origin.
He'd been off. I was only back on for 10 minutes.
Yeah, but
I know.
More a case
but
of.
He's just had 2 big games, Origin into a game for us a few days later, and just not to mention Hunt had such an impact when he was on, and why wouldn't you want that back out there
Hunt
either?
was a beast.
Hunt was itching
was
to
a
get
weapon.
back on the field, and
Defense,
that
attack.
second stint, that last 5-minute stint, he came on. I'm gonna say Nico put the kick up, whoever it was, put the kick up. Hunt ran up,
Monstered him.
tackled the catcher, monstered them. Then for each play of the ball, tackled the recipient, and on the 5th, put pressure on the kicker.
Every single
Why
play.
isn't Cam McInnes doing that?
Well, I'm not saying Cam McInnes doesn't. It was just very noticeable at that point in time that Royce wanted to make an impact. I guess he's, putting himself up in the shop front window, and he really, really just busted a nut out there. And you know what? That was probably a direct correlation to us getting at least close enough to put on that last try.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, I'm going to ask the big question now. Nico. How are we feeling about Nico, and is he the man to take us to a premiership at some point? Or is he just a good player and not a great player? Franco?
No, he's a good player, getting better every game. You can't be hot forever. So bit of a dip here and there, and probably his first in the limelight for Origin, all that responsibility. There's probably a bit weighing down on him a little bit. Our good mate Chris Kelly hates Origin, not only for what can happen on the field, but for what can happen off the field, and it's very likely that could be a possibility. But I mean, as I said, I think for that first 20 odd minutes, the whole team was looking a bit poor. A lot had to go right to pull that out of the fire. And I think if people avoid the recency bias of him missing that last kick, if he kicks that, we're not having this conversation where we're lauding him. We're talking about how good he is and yay the Sharks. So yeah, I don't think that's fair criticism.
Will he get picked?
Yeah,
for
mate. Oh, I think he should be. I think he should be given another crack, given the circumstances he was handed in the first game. You can't put that loss down to Nico tonight. He's not only that, as Franco alluded to, he's getting better as he goes along. He's still learning his craft as a conductor. He's more of a natural running 6 or a fullback, so he's still learning game management, and he's always looking to work on his game. He's kicked for us brilliantly this season in goal kicking. Misses one in maybe a couple in 20-something kicks, and
he's missed 5 out of 49 kicks.
Well, there you go. The press will jump on it because they've got an agenda. But even Fitzy mentioned it in the presser. He just said he's going to be treated like that because it's him. And I just think that's rubbish. I think he'll get us a premiership. I think we'll see a premiership with Nico Hines steering the ship.
I certainly think we're setting up for building towards next season with the AFB landing. I will tell a funny story, the lads, of the advice you gave me walking back to the car after the match. Lats and I are walking back to our cars after the match, and I'm happy to make a comment about how good Brett Kamali used to be at kicking the ball from the sideline, but hopeless at kicking it at any other time. And I was making the comparison of Brett Kamali to Nico, and I'm like, yeah. And so anyway, and then I might have said something to question Nico, and then Lat says, and then this lady next to us kind of bit back at me, and then Lat says to me, Waldo, I think that's Nico's mum. And I'm like, oh, God. Oh, what an idiot. Oh, well, anyway. I
pick your moments, Baldo. Pick your moments.
Well, I just was remarking, but, it's just tough. And you can imagine, being, and I'm not sure if it was Nico's mother or not, but you can just imagine.
The lady, though, she goes, what are you talking about Kamali for? He's half dead. He's not that old.
He's not that old, but he was terrible. Kamali was, just so I'm clear, Kamali was a terrible goal kicker, but he was good when the game was on the line from the
The
sideline.
pressure kicks.
But he was actually okay at the pressure kicks. But anyway, we won't talk about Kamali anymore. Yeah, Rob, we did cover off on the sin bin earlier. The conclusion on the sin bin was that that it would have been a bit tough to sin bin him. Was the conclusion that we drew. And yes, Nickera was the best in them for a while. And then Mike Knight got to meet the great Dan Nichols tonight. Oh, that's good. Does he still look like John Cena? I love Dan Nichols. He's a good man. Good man, Dan Nichols. And if you haven't ever caught Dan's podcast, Fins Up. And
Mate, he's been working out actually. He's on some 75-day challenge in the gym, and he does look more and more like John Cena.
Yeah, well, he's a good man, Dan Nichols. Big fan of Kale Hero and good fan of this show. I want to get Dan Nichols and to take on Matty Williams and Shanazi in a Sharks trivia off of the three different Sharks content creators. I think that would be absolutely hilarious if we could somehow pull that off. Shanazi has said yes to the challenge. I haven't asked Dan Nichols yet, so we've got to line that up. And I'll of course be the host question giver, because then I can say that I knew all the stuff, but actually not have to put any of my credibility on the line at all. Franco, your 3-2-1. Who was your man of the match tonight? Where do you give your points?
I think it's tough to go past Nickera. I think he gets my 3. Probably give my 2 to Royce. It seems odd saying that. I think I'm just caught up in the hype and the hysteria there. But he gets my 2 points, and then 1 point I probably give to. I wanted to give it to Katoa. I thought Katoa had a very good game. He did a lot of
back,
stuff.
didn't he?
Yeah, he did a lot of stuff
Yeah,
that really didn't get noticed. A lot of 1%ers, a lot of effort plays, and he was in the right place at the right time most of the time. So yeah, he gets my 1.
That's
Mate, 3 points, Royce. You can't go past that. That defensive set Franco was talking on earlier, in the meters he made, just the carries, the strong intent, the try. We always looked damaging when he was on. 2 points, Nickera. Thought he had a blinder, and 1 point to Ronnie. I thought he had quite a good game tonight under the high ball and had to do quite a bit to score that try.
Ronnie.
Sorry,
He had a few errors.
But he had some good carries too. And I know he missed that tackle on the hammer, but he got kneecapped by one of our, I don't know who it was coming across. It happened so fast. Got taken out of that contest. But I just thought the try, he was really good, that try. He had to do a lot of work to get that, and he gets my 1 point.
Little mention from all of us tonight about Kale Hero. I actually thought he had quite a solid outing. No, Franco?
Yeah,
it was a bit vanilla.
I mean, it's one of those curses of being consistent, right? Kyle Hero did what Hero does. He made good meters, carted the ball up, but nothing out of the ordinary. He was certainly better in defense tonight, I thought. He's been getting better and better in that regard. But yeah, he didn't do anything wrong. He didn't do anything poor. He just didn't do anything that he doesn't already do week to week. So those kind of things start to get ignored by fans and people when they dish out 3-2-1s, especially for someone who's not in the spine. You're right. He had a good game. He just doesn't get any points from me.
I was enjoying Kennedy's just run through for getting that try, and he does have those brilliant runs. I just have my big question on Kennedy is just inability to make those tackles when the other team breaks through the line. Like, he should have gone lower, and we've just seen it time and time again. But Look,
We also saw that get that he got on Mariner last week too, which saved a try.
look, we're going to have to
he-
go a long way to find a better fullback than Kennedy. Like, let's
Oh yeah,
just be
his
clear.
defense is better this year. It's a lot better this year. I think he's worked on it quite a lot.
He's made a lot of try savers this year. Some ones with big heavy contact too. So, I think again, I've said it in relation to. I think I said it in relation to Talakai last week. But don't paint him with 2023's brush. His defense is definitely better, especially on the goal line there. And unfortunately, when you got big blokes running at you, you're not going to be able to stop everyone. But he's done a pretty good effort this year.
SJD's come through saying, has everyone forgotten that Talakai exists or what? Talakai was gassed at the end of the match. I'm telling you, he was out wide and he was copping stick from 1D Boulderman, telling him to go do a hit up and get involved in the game. He was gassed. I'm convinced now that he is a 40-minute player. All right, let's go see. I don't know if we put up some of these comments. Apologies if I put them up twice. Rob's called out. He went 3 Nicaragua, 2 Royce, 1 to Ramian. Shake's come through. You've been in good form with your comments of late, Shake. I'm saying that Jesse was really good tonight, looked dangerous every time he had the ball. And I do agree with you, Shake, on the second comment. The bye being 1 week earlier for us would have been better. It's just funny how we called it out. Well, I thought we were all pretty much unanimous that 6 weeks ago on the panel, we all pretty much thought the Sharks would win 3 out of 6 of the difficult games, which we had done. Geez, it would have been good to have had 4 instead of 3, wouldn't it? But we've kind of ended up probably on an average score. Mike Knight's come through. Hero definitely in the top 3, with Rob backing up saying he's solid. And then Mike agreeing with me that, yes, Kennedy should have tackled lower. I'm going to go 1 point from my verdict. I'm going to go bottom up because I had enough time to think about it, so I'm going to do it. So I'm going to go 1 point for Hero. I'm going to go 2 points for Nicara. And I just think you cannot go past Royce Hunt. We were not in the game until he came on. And then suddenly we were jagging a whole bunch of tries. And then with 5 minutes to go, he takes the captain off and puts Royce Hunt onto the field. I think you can't go past Royce Hunt. How are we feeling? What does that game give us now as we look to wrap up the show, Franco? When we're feeling about the rest of the season, give you any confidence? Does it change your tip that we're?
I don't want to say. It's always a bit of a crystal ball when you say this, because you don't know what teams are thinking. But I don't want to say the teams are starting to work us out. Although they were very different games, I felt that the Dolphins played very similar to the Panthers in the way that they approached us. They were spoiling in the ruck, doing it very well, getting away with it. They were targeting our back 5, and really sort of stifling the start of our sets. And that was very reminiscent of what the Panthers did. So hopefully it's not a scenario where, more teams start to do that, and that seems to be what is enough to unsettle us. But you know what? We ended up scoring 28 points in a come from behind scenario where could have kicked a goal on the death to take it in extra time. I don't think we should be worrying too much at the moment. I think we've still got a good season ahead of us.
Yeah, mate. I think, I don't think you can be too down on tonight's loss. Just the one that got away. I still think it's a pass mark, and the last sort of 6 weeks, we handled it better than I thought we would, and I don't think it's going to affect us too much. Still think we finished top 4 this season, as Franco said, coming back 28 points to hit the lead from being 22 down, or 24 points to hit the lead from being 22 down. That's no easy feat. We found something, we dug in, we got there, and unfortunately had it snapped off us in the end where we nearly won it back.
Rob's come through saying, watching it live, I thought they showed heart and Mr. Smith did not help in any way. Could have easily got away with that one. Just need to learn from it. And then Shake is backing that up, saying, well, hopefully they learn to stop the offload during the bye because it's been killing us all
Yeah.
year.
Yeah, those Franco and I spoke about this tonight.
Yeah, I think I'm a bit more pessimistic than you fellas. I think it is telling for us. And of the panel of the five of us, I have been the least optimistic for the Sharks all season. I just want us to, a successful season for us would be winning one finals match. That I think at the moment that looks more likely to be, a week 2 finals match than a week 1. I can't see us beating any of the top 4 teams to make the grand final. And I just think we're good at beating the teams that are kind of 5th or lower. Just don't have the quality in the side. And the starting props, we're just not getting enough of them. And yeah, I'm not booking my grand final tickets or my my World Club Challenge at this rate. But maybe I've just been burnt a little bit more, or maybe I'm just leaning in because you guys are so optimistic. I don't know. That one, it knocked me around. That one, I feel for the Sharks fans, and I just don't know. Like we got to get better at the start, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
You
mean,
can't
if
give
you
teams
do,
a lead like that.
if you do,
Right.
you talk about that start. We don't give them a lead like that. We probably come away with a win, right? So I don't like to say it's as simple as that, but it
Like,
really is.
like, why the hell do we need a player who's off contract coming on to turn the game? Like, what? Like,
Well,
where are all our other guys?
again, it's an interesting discussion because he's not off contract. He is contracted with us for 2025. We've just agreed that he's allowed to
He's allowed to negotiate early.
start negotiating early. So, I think it's a bit of an interesting one. There might be more to it behind closed doors. He obviously wants to be at the Sharks. We obviously want him to stay at the Sharks, but there's that scenario of trying to work out how everyone fits. And if there's a scenario that keeps everyone happy, then maybe so be it. But I mean, you've got to remember it was only a month ago or so where he hurt his calf warming up on the sideline, and there were plenty of people asking why he was even in the squad. What a waste of a spot, and get rid of him. So Sharks fans can be a little bit
Fickle
quick to
and
yeah.
But where has
Goldfish,
this
yeah.
consistency been in the past, Franco, with Royce?
I mean, he had it, and I might get a bit of stick for this one, but he was pretty consistent under Morris. He came in, he was doing great job with Morris, and he's always been a player that got better towards the end of the season. He always worked his way up to a strong end of season. He had a history of starting slow, and last year injuries sort of crueled him. He never really got that run up. This year, sure, he's had a couple of injuries, but they've been light on. He's had that run up. He's getting that consistency back. He's getting the minutes in the legs, and he's showing what he can do. He's always had that capability. It's just getting him that time on the field to build up. And wow, when he's on, he's on.
And you don't put it down to anything to do with contracts. I know he's contracted to us for 2025, but he has been given permission to negotiate. And is he not putting himself on show? Maybe.
Well, he was off contract last year, so
is it more incentive though?
But it's the same incentive, right? He was off contract last year. We only signed him late into or early into this season, which meant he was off contract for a significant period of time. Understanding that the 1st of November he was available to start working out his future, and he didn't sign with us until I think it was May. So there was plenty of time for him to do something, and he knew he was on the shop front window. So I don't know if that's the truth. Like I said, last season was a bit of an interrupted season for him. You just got to look at was it the World Cup, right? He took was it the Samoans to the the final against Australia, right? He was part of that team. I think. Could be wrong. Was he part of the Cook Islands? Jeez, I'm throwing
Kale was
my.
Cook Islands.
Kyle was definitely Cook Islands. I'm throwing my reputation on the line here.
You're putting it on the line here. You're about to get owned by someone in the comments.
But I'm pretty
And
sure,
they'll say, "No, Franco."
I'm pretty sure he was part of that Samoan
I
team
think you might be right.
where he got them to the final against Australia, and he was a big part of getting them there, right? He was just killing it.
He is
Thank
a
you,
Samoan
Rob.
international.
Rob.
Oh, there we go.
Indeed.
Rob's been on fire tonight with the comments. Rob also called out that we needed old Tommy slap in the dressing room before they run on. And then Mike's called out that every ref needs to go off with a HAA, but that can't be the excuse. Got to defend and shark attack. And then Ryan's backing you up there. Yeah, he was part of that Samoan team.
Thank you, Rob. Thanks, Ryan.
All right, sounds good. All right, well, I think we might leave it there tonight, fellas. I'm just going to go up and highlight one last set of comments. There it is. I'm going to bring that up. Yeah, the Sharks go down 28-30 with a failed Nico Hines kick from the sideline on his weaker side at the end to almost put it in.
Sound like the Daily Telegraph, mate.
Yeah, well, that's just what happened, isn't it? Tell you what, look, the Sharks will go again. We'll have the week off. So we will have no Chronicles episode this week because we can't really chronicle playing against the bye, but we'll do a Tuesday night show. Who knows what we'll talk about this week or what it'll be. We'll come up with something good. And then in the meantime, the other thing that was a bit of a bummer that happened tonight is little Matty Williams' son, Ronan, got a bit sad at the end when the Sharkies were down, and I saw him crying. So I hope you are better, Ronan, and are watching this tomorrow. And just know that we all think you're a legend, and don't worry, you've got a whole lifetime of seeing the Sharks to support
crying at full time.
Crying at full time. It's Ronan, 5 years old, 4 years old. He's got a whole lifetime of crying like that.
Oh.
But yeah, SJD's called out that Williams would run circles around the other guys in the trivia, and it wouldn't be fair. Maybe. Pretty good. He's pretty good, Shadazi, and he's pretty good, Dan Nichols. So we'll see how we go. And
haven't you seen the hard quiz, SJD?
And the other thing I'll just say, I'm feeling like Franco is very Tom Hazelwood tonight on this. On this
I've been trying to stretch up.
It's looking like
I've
a giant.
moved my chair a few times to try and catch up to him.
I was like sitting there going, "Oh goodness." All right, perfect. All right, well, that was the ET Stand podcast tonight. Franco, Lats, anything from you before I hit end show?
No, mate, just hope they work on their challenges for next game.
That's right, I think so too. Franco, anything from you, buddy?
Mate, I'm looking forward to the bye for once. I hate sitting a week out, but this has been a bit of a roller coaster this last couple of games. So
it's going to be a tough game against the Doggies. Our next game, they're coming off a bye and they've cemented in the top 8 now. So they're hitting their straps. It's not going to be an easy feat, that's for sure.
That's true. And Rob's just called out, living outside the Shire, none of my mates are Shark supporters, so thanks for letting me vent. Well, we vent every week on this show, Rob. Even when we win, we vent and we get into trouble with someone. So, look, if you're new to the show and watching us for the first time, do hit the subscribe button so you can be notified of all of our videos. We do a debrief episode like this one pretty much after full time, after every single match, which is a good fun to do. Sometimes could be a little bit painful for us to manage to schlep it back to our homes straight afterwards, but it is good to just debrief straight afterwards. So yeah, we've got the debrief, and then on Tuesday nights we have the regular ET Stand podcast where we preview next week's match and have a bunch of carry on. Sometimes we do trivia, sometimes we do various other things, and then another segment of show we have is led by Matty, which is the Chronicles, where we look back at a past match. So yeah, that was the ET Stand podcast tonight. Thank you, everyone, for coming along and watching. Sharks go again in 2 weeks against the Bulldogs. Up, Prunella.
For over 50 years, people have come to see the Sharks play. Talent, skill, speed, intelligence, elite-level athleticism. That's not these guys. Biased, one-eyed, opinionated, more often wrong than right. They make up for their complete lack of talent with pure dribble, gibberish, and enthusiasm. This is the ET Stand Podcast.